Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and if you are a sports fan from across the world and you like all kinds of sports, this is the place to come to get regular updates and reviews and opinions on all sorts of major sporting events across the world. So hit the subscribe button and get on board this channel because there's going to be a lot of content coming out. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about the UTMB race, yes, the Ultra Trail Mont Blanc. And if you are not familiar with this incredible race that takes place every year in Chamonix in France, then it's time to check it out because it's a very, very exciting race, and it's happened today or this weekend in Chamonix in France. Now I've been watching the race live for the last 15 hours or so, and it's been an incredible experience. So for those of you that don't know much about ultra trail racing, there are a series of races across the world every year. And from next year there's going to be a world series of races. I think there's going to be 12 races across the world where you can qualify regardless of the level of runner you are. So not only the elite runners but also the weekend warriors, and you're going to be able to qualify to get into the final, which is going to be the World Series final taking place at Mont Blanc. Now this weekend we see the UTMB race taking place, and it's been really, really exciting. So first of all, in the men's race we saw 5 guys take off basically and form a lead group, and the race started in Chamonix at 6 o'clock local time on Friday evening. And there was a lot of word on the street that this was going to be a race record year. There was a couple of contenders who thought they could run under 20 hours for the first time, and this is an extraordinary achievement when you consider there's 8 or 9 mountain peaks to be climbed or run up over the course of 170 kilometers. That's 104 miles. So an extraordinary distance, extraordinary terrain, and that's what makes this ultra trail running so exciting, because it's a great test of not only physical strength but also mental application. And we've really seen that this year in this year's race. So conditions were pretty much ideal when the races started at Chamonix. It had been raining for a few hours before. The rain had stopped, the skies were clearing, and it was quite a balmy evening for this time of the year. It was around about 14 degrees Celsius up on the mountain, so it was really ideal conditions for a lot of the runners. The trails were very dry, so there was not a lot of muck around, which also made it quite difficult because when it's dry it's a bit more slippery. When there's a little bit of water surface, it allows the runners' feet to be able to stick into the trails a little bit more. But anyway, they didn't have to contend with any bad conditions really. So we had in the front of the pack we had Killian Jornet, who is a legend in the sport. He's been around for about 20 years, from Spain Killian. He's won this race 3 times before, and he was one of the favorites going into the race this year, along with Jim Walmsley from the United States. Jim is a renowned ultra trail runner. He's been winning a lot of races in the US, and he's had 2 DNFs in the Mont Blanc race over the last 2 years. So he's been trying to crack this one, and all word out was that he was going to go all out for it in this particular race. Then we had Mathieu Blanchard. Matthew's from Canada, and really good racer. He came out of nowhere, in fact, last year to get 3rd place. Was not a hot favourite, was not anybody's real pick last year, but did a fantastic race to get in 3rd position. Zach Miller was back. Zach had a big surgery last year, kept him out of racing, and he's come back this year strong, and he was a contender in this race. And we also had Tom Evans, and Tom's from the UK, an ex-military man. And in fact, if you check out my Global Sports Channel YouTube channel, I interviewed Tom. I'll put the link in the description of this video. And really nice guy, and he's a runner for Red Bull. And you can check out what he had to say to me during that interview, which was long before this race took place. So yeah, those were the main contenders in this year's race, and it was exciting right from the get-go. Jim Walmsley took off, and he was putting the pressure on Killian Jornet, that's for sure. And it wasn't until deep into the night that things started to change in the front of the race. Now Killian and Jim got a bit of a lead on the other guys, and it wasn't much longer after about 2 a.m, 3 a.m. in the morning that Jim Walmsley just ended up crashing and started walking. and whether it was a hunger knock or whether his body just fell into a desperate state. Let's face it, doing 170 kilometers in this extraordinary terrain, there's going to be lots of ups and downs emotionally and as well as physically. So yeah, Killian took off and left Jim behind at that stage, and then Mathieu Blanchard came up and actually took the lead off Killian. And then Killian was having a very bad period around about 120 kilometers into the race. So Mathieu Blanchard took the lead at that stage, and Killian came back though. So Killian came back towards the end of the race and ended up passing Mathieu again and taking the lead, and he held on to that lead right to the end back in Chamonix. But there was only 5 minutes in it, and Mathieu Blanchard did another fantastic race, finishing in second position this year. So Killian Jornet was the winner of this year's 2022 UTMB race at Mont Blanc. He was a 5-minute winner over Mathieu Blanchard from Canada, and Tom Evans from the UK came in third position, about 35 or 40 minutes behind those guys. So it was an extraordinary race. Killian Jornet actually broke the course record. He was the first man to go under 20 hours on this course, recording 19 hours and 49 minutes. And extraordinary stuff, really extraordinary stuff. So Jim Walmsley came in fourth position, and Zach Miller was in fifth position. In the women's race, at the time of this video going to air, Katie Schride from the US is the winner of the women's race, and she had a big lead over the second place lady, but those races for second and third were still in contention, so I won't confirm any of those at this stage. But what an incredible event this is. I remember back in the years gone by that the Kona Ironman Championship in Hawaii was the pinnacle of endurance sport, one-day endurance sport. I think this ultra trail running is now taking over from the Ironman triathlon in a lot of different ways. It's an extraordinary challenge for athletes to go on these trails through amazing mountainous areas of the world, and indeed national parks as well. And it's in a sport that's exploding in popularity right now, ultra trail running. So during Mont Blanc week you can do races over different distances. They have, I think, 25 kilometers, 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers, and the big one which is 170 kilometers. So if you're thinking about testing yourself out in different types of terrain, then why not have a look at ultra trail running? It's something a little bit different. It's not as boring as running on roads and doing marathon races. So if you've been a marathon runner for a while and you're getting a bit tired of doing those kinds of races, then ultra trail running could be for you. I'm getting quite excited by this ultra trail running. An event there in Chamonix, the whole town supports this event. It's an incredible event. Over 2,700 competitors this year. At the time of making this video, about 80 competitors had pulled out of the race, so it has a high attrition rate. But yeah, you've got to be insanely fit and strong mentally to be able to finish 170 kilometers of running over a couple of days for most people, and over mountainous conditions with about 10,000 meters of climbing and descending elevation thrown in there. So yeah, not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. But check it out. I'll put a few links in the website below to check out the UTMB race. But yeah, what an extraordinary race this year, won by Killian Jornet from Spain, his fourth win in the race. Mathieu Blanchard from Canada, second place, and Tom Evans from the UK finishing the podium in third place. So yeah, fantastic race. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed me talking about the UTMB. I'll be back again soon on this channel with another video, so please check out the videos and subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching. See you soon.